What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to NPS.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming all the way from Canada.
Canada's in the building, you
Yeah,
are.
the six.
I love the fit.
Thank you, thank you.
Fire.
You know, custom always. I do all my own.
Fire. So let's start off by just jumping right into it, okay? Could you tell the audience who you are and what you repping?
My name is Paid Victim. Emphasis on the paid. Never just a victim. From Long Island, New York. Strong Island. I feel like I'm trying to represent that more because, you know, I feel like a lot of people, they be capping, they be like, oh, Brooklyn. Nah, girl, you're not from Brooklyn.
Ooh, okay.
I'm from Long Island. I'm a Jack Dad.
Yeah.
And I'm based in Brooklyn right now, but a lot of heads, you know, Wu-Tang, Lana Del Rey, De La Soul come from Long Island, but I feel like they didn't really like shout it out, put it on the map. So like, that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Did you mention Wu-Tang?
Yeah.
Yo, shout out Wu-Tang, man.
Whoa.
Hell yeah. Okay, let's jump right into it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let's start at the beginning of your story. Could you remember that time when you were first introduced to hip-hop?
So, like I was kind of telling you earlier, hip-hop is like in my blood because I got a aunt I grew up around. She, at the time, back in the 90s, was like a songwriter for Bad Boy. And, you know, just being around her, that like really put me, like, introduced me to hip-hop. Because I grew up in a very, like, I believe I'm using the term right, secular household. It was very, like, Christian and, like, Christian household.
For real?
Yeah.
You grew up in a Christian household?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, we definitely gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we gotta talk about it.
Yeah, let's get into this here.
It
Okay.
was like pretty much giving cult, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, I feel like just being around that and also just like recently finding out my cousin-in-law is Jason Derulo. Jason Derulo, you know, so it just kind of feels full circle. Like there's a lot of musicians already in my family, but in terms of hip hop, definitely my aunt, she kind of brought me around that.
That's fire. That's fire. So do you remember the first couple artists like you were listening to? Like, do you remember the first?
Yeah. Okay, so I have old head parents. They're
Word.
from like OG 70s, like the birth of hip hop. Like they was on the streets seeing like MC Shan and like those types of people, Roxanne Shante. Like I grew up like those are like the first artists I ever heard. That's like old school. Like
That's like
throwing it
70s,
back.
80s.
That's
right?
like 80s, yeah. But the like MC Sham is like 70s.
MC Shan.
Yeah.
Yo, that's classic though.
Yeah, that's like Bronx vibes
Yeah.
right there.
Shout out to Bronx.
Yeah.
And what kind of genre of music was playing in your household? Like, when you were growing up, what do you remember listening to or hearing?
So growing up, I grew up listening to like a lot of West Indian music, a lot of like country music, a lot of rock. The hip hop world, like it was usually old school. It wasn't like new school for me, but it was like more so like in terms of West Indian music, like Buju Banton and things of that nature. Like growing up, Elton John. A lot of that influences in my like second to recent track, Intruder Alert. Like you hear some of those samples in there, like Funeral for a Friend. Shout out Elton John, let's work. You know.
Yo, I love Elton John.
I love me some Elton John, boy.
Hell yeah. Okay, so when did you when you decided to like make music? Like, how did this start getting into the mix of things?
Okay, so ironically, when I first moved to Brooklyn like 6 years ago, I was looking for some smoke, you know, I was looking for some za. It usually happens like that, you're looking for some za. And my homegirl, you know, this big black guy came up to us. He was like, weed.
He was a big black guy?
Yeah, big black guy.
Okay.
Because, you know, like,
Word.
usually people are like, oh, let's not, like, they're, like, tend to, like, stereotype those types of people. And they're like, let's not trust it. But I'm like, nah, I like his energy. I'm going to go with this guy, whatever. So he was like, he brought us to this, like, basement setup. And then my friend was like, I'm going to stay out here and then you go down there. And I was like, all right, cool. So when I walked down there, at first it was scary as, like, can be. And then next thing you know, it's a whole studio down there. And it's like a bunch of like Brooklyn artists. Like I seen a couple heads in there.
There was more people in the basement.
Yeah, it was like a
Okay.
whole, like I'm talking about like padded, like a professional basement.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it looked crazy on the outside, like I was about to get kidnapped. But in the inside, it was a whole studio, right? So then I'm like, nah, bro, it's a studio down there. Like I'm freaking just turned 18, and I'm like, yo, like let's just being adventurous. And I'm like, yo, let's chill with these people. So we chill with them. And then next thing you know, they're like, yo, you look like you sing. And I grew up in church, so like I do sing, I do a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to bring that out also this year. But like I was like, nah, like I didn't really know what I did at the time. And then they were like, yo, like honestly, you're fire, you and your friend, like I'm gonna just give you guys a free beat, like whatever, like just experiment. So then like I had some stuff in my notes that I wrote just at the lunch table earlier that year, like random scrap raps, and we hopped on the beat, and I don't know if you guys could like tag it. It's still on SoundCloud, like my first ever.
What is it?
It's called it's with Mimi Don't Tell Nobody.
Okay.
It's called Voice, and then we have another song called Shine.
Fire.
Yeah, they're not mixed and mastered, but they're hard. But long story short, that was my introduction to like rapping. Like the mic was literally like handed to me type stuff. So I was just like, okay. Ever since then, I realized like I had a passion for like music and and I wanted to become a recording artist.
And how do you find your voice and your style? Because a lot of artists struggle with that, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to first find that vibe, right? So what was your story behind that?
So, I mean, it took, just like anyone else, like, it took me some time. I feel like when I first started rapping, I always was lyrically inclined, because, like, I don't want to say a nerd, but, I always wrote, like, whether it be chapter books since I was in the 4th grade, or, like, poems and stuff. So, I was in poetry clubs and stuff.
Oh, for real? In school?
Yeah, so, like, I always liked to write. So, I knew like my writing skills was always just like immaculate, but in terms of like, oh, like this is the type of beats I want to be on and stuff like that, I feel like that started to develop really like recently, like I want to say 2020 when I made Pheromone. Like I feel like that was like me hopping on an electronic beat.
Was that your first song recorded? Pheromone?
Pheromone was like iJack. That's like my first like professional.
Right. Okay.
Because it's on all streaming platforms. But like the stuff I just told you about with my homegirl, we made like that song randomly that night. That's on SoundCloud. It's not really on anything else. So it's like, you know, it was a beat I brought. But like I was telling you the other day, I like orchestrate all my beats. And that's what I want the people to know. Because like, I don't be sitting there buying beats. Like I orchestrate.
You producing it too.
Yeah, I damn near produce my beats. Like, you know what I mean? I go in there, I tell them like, yo, put this here, use this sample, like take this out. And yeah, so I feel like just all the influences of me growing up, like all those genres I listened to growing up, Andre Bocelli, like Italian music, classical, all that gets inspired into my music and really made me the artist I am today.
I think that's important you mentioned that you make beats.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people wouldn't probably know that about you, right? They probably feel like you just go to producers all the time and just...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when I was going through your page, right? Your name, Paid Victim, stood out to me.
Yeah.
And I want to know, and I think everybody wants to know.
The people want to know.
How did you come up with the name Paid Victim?
Okay, so boom. I've been working since I could legally work. I've been working since I was 14 years old. And at that job, I was just like, it kind of occurred to me, the whole lifestyle, like capitalism and stuff. Like, yo, I really have to work to survive. Like, and it really dawned on me, like, we're all paid victims. Like, we're all paid by a system that victimizes us. So,
okay.
I feel like when people hear paid victim, they're like, oh, this girl's probably like a narcissist. Like, she got the victim mentality being going on. Far from it. I think I'm very self-actualized as a person. So, and I'm big on accountability, but that's where the name paid victim came from.
I love that.
And I had that name since I was 14. Like,
since
people
you were 14?
called me that since I was 14. Yeah.
Okay. I love the explanation. That's fire. Because a lot of people probably don't know that.
Nah, a lot of people don't.
And when you started recording and releasing songs, right? This is way back.
Yeah.
What was the feedback like?
I actually like got a lot of love from people I went to high school with and stuff. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people in the industry like show me love too. Like the artist Doechii, she's actually huge now. Shout out to her.
Doechii?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she actually, the song that I just made, FYI, that was actually supposed to be a verse on a feature she hit me up about like 2020 during the pandemic to be on. And what happened was I did it, like, I guess like she was trying to do this thing where we were supposed to be on a beat that was like, what's that song? Girls just wanna have fun. Girls just wanna have fun. Oh, girls just wanna have fun. Like, it was supposed to be like, she sent me a remix of that, and I wrote a verse for that. She's like, yo, this is fire. And she was trying to have people from like different states like hop on that, and then I was supposed to represent New York. And I guess it never fell through. And then like a month later, the girl blows up. She's huge now, whatever, she's doing her thing. So I was just like, I kind of got discouraged because I'm like, I always found myself like very close to like seeing everybody else make it around me, and I'm just like still in this like underground like level. And then I was like, nah, freak that. Like, I'm gonna just make my own song out of that whole verse, and that's where FYI came from.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy story.
So now you can hear the hoes just want to have FUN and NY.
Yeah.
Like now you kind of see the like girls just want to have fun vibes. That was like supposed to be that. Yeah.
And how about your first couple releases, Pheromone and Incline?
Yeah.
How'd those songs come about?
So Pheromone really was like, it's kind of, I can't say the word because I can't curse. It's kind of corn, bro, because it's like a breakup song a little bit, but it was
that song, the breakup song?
Yeah, because it's just like, my neurons are divine and my psyche is aligned. I don't got the time for no physical incline. If go up on my mind, then that's where I'm running down. If you was by mine, then that's where I will decline. Like, and I have a verse too where I'm just like, I'll leave all your clothes on the front lawn and all that. So it was just like one of those like, I need to write this because I was in traffic. I was bored. I was just like, sitting there, you know how the girls do. We read a list of 10 reasons why I should still mess with this person, 10 reasons why I shouldn't. And I was like, you know what? I feel like these 10 reasons could be in a song. Like,
people still do that?
I
do. 10 reasons, 10
reasons?
And
I was like, okay, if the 10, or like not even just 10, but it's like, if I have more reasons why I shouldn't be with that person, I'm gonna leave. Like, that's just me.
And how about
Audio Assassin?
Yeah.
4 songs.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to create that body of work? And like, for people that don't know your music, like, what does it sound like?
Okay, so it took me like, I want to say a year and a half. Believe it or not, I'm a perfectionist. Like, first of all, like the features on there, like some of the artists, like Zeb Kids and stuff like that, they're from California. Then we were like using, it was also supposed to be like, that was really supposed to be like a collaboration because the person that put me in the studio with Color Plus and stuff, who produced one of the songs, Phobia Fetish, it was like we had to fly that artist, they had to fly in, and then we had to link up with the person that was in the studio out here, and it was just, like, it was a lot of waiting on other people, and it was also like a lot of the music was supposed to be for another project. Like, it was supposed to be a soundtrack. Like, it was like the first 2 songs on there are like my own songs, and then the last 2 were supposed to be a part of a soundtrack. It didn't end up working out, but in hindsight, I'm glad because
it still end up on the project.
Right, and yeah.
And Dancehall Demon.
Yeah.
That video's fire.
Thank you.
How do you put these together? Like, budget-wise and directors, do you have a team, or are you just doing it solo?
Everything. Like, I'm literally a woman of multiple trades. I wear so many hats. I put on my director pants that day. Like, I casted people. I wrote all the props. I pretty much do all the tricks and all the stunts myself. Like, and I just had a homegirl. She was in the video. Like, she was like last minute, like, oh, I have this friend for $100. He could record. I edited the video. Like,
you edited that video too?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Like, I really do all this by myself. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You definitely gonna go far doing that though, cause I feel like when you do it yourself, you're more self-efficient. Like, like you're not waiting on people to do stuff.
I don't have time to wait on nobody.
Yeah.
And also, like, I notice when you have to, like, it depends on the team, because some people will try to use like that about like over you, and like you have to like slow down your career. And it's like, nah, it's just best to be, like, especially in this stage when you don't have like a management or team like to know how to do those things yourself, so you don't have to like, cause you'll spend bread hiring people.
Exactly.
Like you're not even seeing money. I'm not even seeing money for real now. So
right.
it's like.
So imagine paying all that money.
Negative.
Exactly.
Negative.
So what's next for Paid Victim? Like what you work on right now?
So right now, what's next is in the process of my next EP. That's gonna be called Telepathy. And I just got this hard Berlin artist doing the cover art. So it's gonna be fire. I have like this fire feature that I've like manifested at a show earlier. I ended up in Paper Mag, and so did the same artist. And then her fiance was there, and he seen me perform, and he was just like, "Yo, like, I would love to like make an EP for you for free." And then we just like, I give him songwriting credits. So that just kind of fell in my lap. But right now, I'm still trying to promote the hell out of like FYI, because I'm like, that song just has too much potential, and I'm trying to do this thing too where I don't just hop into the next thing, like stay like grounded, right? Stay grounded, break this record, and let people earn a EP and earn a music video, like yeah.
Fire. So before I wrap this up, right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure the audience knows where to find you. So shout out all your Instagrams. Like where can people find you? Like.
Okay, so people can find me on all streaming platforms, Paid Victim, PAID Victim, and you can find me. I'm on TikTok, YouTube. What else am I forgetting? TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Same ad name, Paid Victim.
And one other thing.
Yeah.
If you can give people one word of advice or like a quote to leave the interview with, what would it be?
I'm gonna leave it with affirmation. I am in the timeline of my highest good, my deepest desires, and my ultimate fulfillment. Ashe. I feel like I say that twice. Once when I wake up, and then when I go to sleep. That's the words of encouragement I give people, like to just affirm that every day. Because I feel like there's so many different timelines going on at once, and you really could wake up in the right timeline just by. Because when we wake up, we're like on beta wave time. So it's like we gotta like reprogram our subconscious, and you tell yourself like, I'm in the timeline of my highest good. I feel like you attract that every day, like those opportunities and blessings. So yeah.
Fire. Thank you for coming by Model Pick Station. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for having me.
Paid Victim. That's a wrap.
All right.
Next stop, Model Pick Station.